Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. How are we doing this evening? Going to be talking about Anthony Martial, Timothy Fosu-Mensah as well, going on loan to Hertha Berlin, which I think is an absolute joke. And it is Saturday Night Live, so we will have a special Saturday Night Live Q&A from the shores of the Balearics, be taking some of your questions as well. But let's start off about Anthony Martial. There's a situation going on at United here where I don't normally say that Jose Mourinho is wrong, but he's going to be totally wrong on this. If this is true, he's going to be totally wrong and he's going to get sorted out big time, because the rumour has been for a long time that with Anthony Martial, the club don't want to sell him because they're scared that at 22 years of age he can go off and be Mo Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, all the other players that Mourinho has been sort of directly or indirectly. I don't want any more pineapple, mate. I've had enough trouble from you today. You've already been locked up once. I don't want any pineapple now. Sod off. We've had enough trouble with Anthony Martial over the summer, and Mourinho's got enough indirect problems with Mo Salah and Kevin De Bruyne in the past that I think United are a little bit concerned about where this could end up being. So look, I'm going to say it as it is. If Manchester United sell Martial, it's so funny. We put a tweet out on Twitter today and it was along the lines of, I love how the press, maybe the club, maybe Mourinho, keep spreading this nonsense about Anthony Martial out, trying to build a negative picture of him, yet still the majority of Manchester United fans are right behind him. The majority of United fans still love Martial. There are the deceptors. There are people on Twitter, when I put that tweet out earlier on, saying, oh, because I basically said, Anthony Martial to me epitomises what Manchester United is to me. He gets me on the edge of the seat, he's an exciting player, and he could be one of the world's best players. And you get people replying saying, a moody player who's got no backbone doesn't epitomise Manchester United. Well, I'll tell you what doesn't epitomise Manchester United. A manager who self-admittedly cannot deal with all types of players. Just before the Europa League final last year, Jose Mourinho said, I'm not actually that good at dealing with players who need an arm around the shoulder. I like players who just run through brick walls. Well, I've said this so many times, whatever your walk of life, that's not a reality. You've got to be able to deal with different types of players. It's funny how Anthony Martial under Van Gaal works really well, but under Jose Mourinho he doesn't. And that's because Jose Mourinho clashes with Anthony Martial. But I'm sorry. The reality is, if you're a manager of McDonald's, a manager of BT or whatever, it's your job to get the best out of your staff. And if Martial's underperforming under Mourinho, to turn on Martial is wrong. Mourinho's the manager. He's got to get the best out of Martial. Now, if Mourinho had signed Martial and he'd never done anything in a Manchester United shirt, I could sort of understand it. But the reality is, he's performed in a Manchester United shirt. He's performed admirably in the Premier League. He's even performed under Mourinho. So why are we getting rid of a player? Now, the story today is that the club don't want to sell Martial, and they're going to try and cling on to him, which I think is going to be a bit of a problem because I think Martial wants to go. But Mourinho is not that bothered about Martial going. Well, I'm sorry, that I don't normally go against Jose, but I do go against Jose on this. Letting Martial go will be a mistake. He will be a very, very good player. And maybe it's not going to be under Jose Mourinho, but Manchester United are wrong to let him go. 100% wrong to let him go. So I think that is certainly the way to go. Certainly the way to go. That we keep him and we try to work it through. I just love Jose Mourinho to be the bigger man. Now, Jose Mourinho has always been very stubborn, and it's his way or the highway, but on this situation I think he's just got to be the bigger man. I'll donate if you go on the slide. Yeah, you know what, give me a few minutes. I can see one that's doable. But also, trust me, the board will not sell Martial. That was a good comment, and that was from Chauvin Capia. I hope it happens. I hope he stays at Manchester United. But Jose Mourinho, as I said, I don't normally go against him, but he's absolutely wrong on this. And I don't agree with the United fans who are against Martial as well, because you're basing it on pure speculation. You're basing it on speculation that, oh, he's moody, speculation that he's not committed. I think he is committed to Manchester United. I just think there's an issue with the manager. And many people have said this, I'm not the first. The concern with Jose Mourinho was that it would become Mourinho United and not Manchester United. And that is a big, big problem, isn't it? Because we should be Manchester United. And the reality is, as well, I know I've said the reality is a couple of times, but why Manchester United selling a player that's better than any right midfielder we can get in the next 6 days? We're scratching around hoping to get Willian or whoever else that we've got no idea. And you've got Anthony Martial, who I think is probably one of the best left midfielders in the world, potentially. And we're letting him go. I am going to take some of your questions, but I just want to also talk about Fosu Mensah, because we put a tweet out on @United Stand MUFC, and basically it was along the lines of that Hertha Berlin are going to get Fosu Mensah for a year on loan. Now I did put that tweet out and I said, what an absolute joke. I dare you to get your ass down that slide, says Mad Marcus. Don't dare me, because I will do it. But look, he looks at it. I said that what are we going to learn by sending Fosu Mensah to a pub league? What are we going to learn from it? And I sort of said a similar thing. No, I didn't. When Pereira went to Valencia last year, I didn't agree with it, because he'd already done a year in La Liga. And my thought process on that was, what more is he going to learn? Now, actually, the loan move was quite good for Pereira, but this is Germany, which is a pub league. Bayern Munich, by all the good players from all the German clubs, it's a pub league. Then you've got the fact that Fosu Mensah has already been on loan to the Premier League. We're a Premier League club. Don't tell me that half of the Premier League would not want Fosu Mensah, especially the bottom half. So we've got a player that many people like myself believe can be a Manchester United first teamer, who I think actually did well on the US tour and did well at Crystal Palace. He needs another loan in the Premier League. Why are we sending? It's a bit like sending Pereira to Portugal, the goalkeeper. Why are we sending them to leagues that have got sod all to do, correlation-wise, to what we want them to do? Fosu Mensah doing well in the German league doesn't actually mean anything. Him doing it in the Premier League actually does mean something. So that is that is my issue with that, is that, I suspect, the flip side of the Fosu Mensah thing is that if we're keeping bloody Darmian, as I said last night, what the hell is going on with our club? Fosu Mensah is better than Darmian. He's better than Phil Jones. Why are we keeping these? The reality is, with our squad at the moment, if you're anywhere near 30 years of age, Jose Mourinho's going to keep you. And I'm sick to the back teeth of this negative attitude of, if you're 30, I'll keep you. Let's bloody grow up and get back to what Manchester United were all about. In the late 50s, Sir Matt Busby, buying up all this youth talent, winning league titles with youth. Sir Alex Ferguson, winning league titles with youth. Give us an update of the Pineapple Guy, says Imrano TV. Well, the update on you'll never believe this. I've literally just been walking along the seafront, and the update with the Pineapple Guys, I saw somebody who said, oh, is he Mark Goldbridge from the United Stand? I went, yeah. So I saw your video earlier on, and that guy on that beach, he does it all the time, and he actually got arrested this afternoon. I can't clarify whether that's true or not, but in my defence, what I would say is that I was sat down for once. I tell people to sit down all the time. I was sat down doing the live stream in the morning like I do. He tried to offer me some pineapple, and I said, no thank you, as I did. Starts chucking it in my face. I'm on a call. Then starts waving a knife. Being aggressive. That's why, hence I said piss off, and then he started being a nasty sod. So he got what people saying I was bloody scared. I was sat down with somebody waving a bloody knife at me, so part of me was thinking, what the bloody hell's going on? But to be honest, he's lucky I was live, because things would have happened differently if I hadn't have been. Mourinho will sell Fosu Mensah, Martial, Pereira and Darmian. Fellaini, Phil Jones, Smalling will stay. I agree with that. What's happening about Martial, Mark, says Alan Barney? Well, you get ridiculous stories. I saw a website putting out today positive news about Anthony Martial because he's back in training. Well, he's got to be back in training. Right, let's start throwing out some comments, and I'll start answering them for you. Matter and common goal, yeah. People there going, oh, Mark, whatever like that. I'm sorry. The reality is, if you're sat down and someone's messing around being an idiot like that, you either man up or you man down, don't you? Simple as that. And I've had training in that sort of stuff, so I know what to do. But I'm not saying I would have done anything about it, but I don't think it's on. And if he has been arrested, I'm bloody glad, because it's intimidation. Go down the slide, says D-Ban. Red slide for Martial to stay, says Mad Gamer. Martial is the meaning of Manchester United, says Don Philippe. I agree with you on that. Any Alderweireld nudes, says Elliot H. Well, if you listen to everybody else, the news with Alderweireld is that he's coming to Manchester United, but I get a little bit concerned when people start saying that, because I like the thought of Toby Alderweireld coming to Manchester United, but I also get a little bit concerned about Alderweireld coming to Manchester United, because I know that dealing with people like Daniel Levy is very difficult, and I do think we will sign Alderweireld, but I just think all these MUFC, I've got a source and all this crap, they're just trying to get the jump on it. And the reality is, nobody gets the jump on Alderweireld to Manchester United. I don't know anybody who's been ahead of this because it's not actually happened yet. So what people are doing is they're jumping on it saying it's going to happen. I can say Alderweireld is going to happen, or it's highly likely to happen. Then when it doesn't happen, you'll go, well, it fell through at the last minute. The reality is it's not happened yet. There's no personal terms, there's no deal done, but I think it will happen. I think it will happen. Sai Herman says, slide for a love of United. Mark, the kind of man to kill you with one stare, says Alan Barney. Look, I'm not a tough guy. I don't want to be a tough guy. I don't believe in that machismo shit, to be honest with you. I really don't. If you go down the yellow slide, Jared Pesserman says we'll keep Martial. Well, red was I don't fancy the yellow slide because it's a curvy slide. I don't mind the red. That sounds a little bit better. Don't fail for pure pleasure, says okay, United to win this title, quote me on this, says David Tapgun. The United slide, says Mike Attrell. Jump in the eater. That guy trying to sell you stuff again. Oh, he was back at the start of the video. Do you think Shaw or Darmian starts for Leicester, says Isala Daniel. I think, to be honest with you, I still think a lot of the main players will start. I still think that Lukaku and I don't know about Pogba because he's not that. I certainly think Rashford and people like that will play. I don't think there's any chance of Anthony Martial starting tomorrow in the Bayern Munich game. We will have a watch along for you for that, by the way. Martial should not go, says Nikish. Jump in the sea, Mark, says Mark Beatty. Look, I'm not a performing seal. Kovacic reportedly said he didn't want to join United because of our style of play, says Alicia. I think in relation to Kovacic, that is a load of nonsense because I don't really think that we need a midfielder anymore. Manchester United sliding straight into relegation, says Nathan Smith. Not a chance. Shaw will not even start a single game, says Mehil. And I genuinely think we could win the league with Alder because we have the option of playing a 3-5-2, which will make us far more unpredictable, says Javan. Martial deserves to play under a manager who doesn't hate him, whether it's in the Premier League or not, says Isaiah. I'd agree with you with that, mate. Sanchez should be played on the right-hand side, says Michael Jones. Well, many people have been saying that for a long time. It doesn't seem to happen. Mahed's a Liverpool fan and says Liverpool are going to win the league because they're beating teams in pre-season. I'm sure they did that last year as well. They're not going to win the league. Fekir along with Pogba. I don't want Fekir. If we sign Fekir, we're even more banter than we are at the moment. And what I want to say as well is that Yerry Mina has apparently agreed personal terms with Manchester United. So you want to be very, very careful because we ain't going to get two centre backs, and we could well end up with Yerry Mina instead of Alderweireld. What have you got against Fekir, says Jimmy V? Apart from the fact that he was signing for Liverpool, that's pretty much about it. Mark, if we had a bad season, should we sack Jose and get Zidane? I think if we don't win the league, Mourinho's got to go. I've said that a few times, David. 100%. He's got to go. Any chance of Perisic, says Michael Rose. Good point, Michael. There was. I remember last night I did the video about Perisic and I said that Perisic to Manchester United may not be as far-fetched as people think, and especially now Willian has gone. So the story with Perisic is that he has given a quote in the last 24 hours saying that he wouldn't mind going playing for a bigger side, which I think is quite positive. I mean, you've got to love. Ethan Webb says, I'd love to sign Pulisic for Martial. Look, unfortunately, I just do not think that we've got the manager for that. I don't think we've got the manager for that at all. I don't think Jose Mourinho is that interested in signing those sort of players. Barcelona signed Vidal, so they're happy to give Mina to us. Even if they didn't sign Vidal, they wouldn't use Mina, says World Cup Goals channel. Well, Vidal's a midfielder, isn't he? And Yerry Mina is as a centre-back. Keep chucking me the questions. Our squad truly isn't in dire circumstances. We've got talented young players that could get more time with less signings, says Jimmy V. I think with the right sort of manager, then we certainly could do that, but he isn't the right sort of manager. Brand is being hurt. Bored, unwilling to support Jose equals Zidane. Keith Singer. Is it realistic to go for Sandro, says Saeed? Well, I said that this morning. It's 100% realistic to go for Alexandro. He is exactly the sort of player that we should go for. But for some reason, we don't seem to want to do it. There we go. Mark, news about Willian. Not heard anything about Willian. Imrano TV says maybe Jose wants Mina threat at set pieces. We also give away a lot of goals from set pieces last year. Could be worth 5 to 10 points. I don't want Mina, just trying to be positive. If we sign Mina, then we have got to be positive because that's what we're signing. But I don't think it's the right signing for United at all. Remember, please do smash a like on the video. Somebody's going up on the red slide. Please do drop a like on the video. I think Mina is a bad signing for Manchester United, definitely. I wouldn't want him. Unpopular opinions. As Theodore Clark's, I don't think Zidane is better than Mourinho. Mourinho gone by Christmas. It doesn't matter who he gets now. Too much negativity. Lowering expectation is Mourinho. What's the point of buying a winger if you want to play 3 at the back? Karam, you are absolutely spot on. Does the club monitor what fans are saying on the United stand, says John Benno? Probably not, but they probably should do, because obviously that's really important. Hey Mark, how about James, says Sargit? Well, James Rodriguez is staying at Bayern Munich. Martial should go out on loan like Pereira did the past few seasons, says Vale. It can't happen, Vale. It can't happen because he's got a year left on his contracts. We need him to sign a new contract, so it can't happen. Mark, looking out for the pineapple guy, says Liquid Aquilium. There's loads of people around me. I think they're just fans hanging around trying to get on the camera. Mark, go in the slide, mate. Martial is too good for a loan, says Isaiah Daniel. A proper manager would use Anthony Martial, and he'd play him week in, week out. 100% he would. So I agree with that he would. Where's our club heading with these people at the helm, says Prakor. You been on that slide yet? Goldbridge, says Tyler. Would still favour Poch instead of everyone. Yes, he has not proven his worth, but he also doesn't have the funds to spend like Mourinho and Pep. He's never won anything, that's the problem, isn't it? What formation do you think we play? Players we have suggest a 3-5-2. I would have said you were right about that last season, but this season, last season we did it in pre-season. This season we've done it in pre-season. Last season we just started 4-3-3. I think Jose Mourinho's formation is the static, boring, doesn't press 4-3-3. That's what he knows, and I think that's what he expects his players to do. Why was Valencia at Sheffield United v Swansea game? I didn't know he was. I think Abraham is a better finisher than Marcus Rashford, says Science Lover. Well, yeah, Marcus Rashford does need to work on his finishing. Left slide free, right side free. Mark, do you think we'll make a last-minute surprise signing like Mbappe, says Sandeep? Not in a chance. Paul Robinson says Jose will go 4-3-3, so don't get the pre-season thing. Well, what I would say, Paul, is we've not seen any change in the style of play either, have we? So that's a bit of a problem. 500 likes for Mark to go on the slide. 1,000 likes and I'll go down the slide. There you go. Part of the bus all season, Barino, says Nathan Smith. Brendan Rodgers is the best manager in the UK. I was walking past the pub today and there was a load of Scots watching the Celtic game. And I was like, why do people bother with supporting Celtic? It's such a non-league. Did the club really charge Martial 2 weeks' wages, says Justin. I don't know whether that was just paper talk. It never really got said. Mark, straight up, all of us chuck in a couple of million and buy the Man United board. I'd love to see it happen. Hope Chong and Fosu Mensah get more games, says Courtney Baker. Well, if you're a little bit late, Courtney, Fosu Mensah is apparently going on loan to Hertha Berlin. Scots in Santa Ponza, says Peter B. Pineapple Guy has a knife, beware, says Pankaj. Mark, what happened to the stadium money promised to strengthen the squad? Grandad 33. Another good thing, what happened to all this positivity about David De Gea signing a new contract? What happened to that? Where's that gone? Where's that? Where's David De Gea's new contract that we were all promised was going to happen? Jonathan Tarr of New Leverkusen is good. Mark, what do you think of Gulam of Napoli? I think he's an okay fullback. I don't think he's enough. Bjorn Lundberg says, is the lack of transfer funds transfers because we've made an agreement with Zidane? I doubt it. I think football is one of them things where we all try to get positive, don't we? And I agree with that. But I remember this same sort of talk with Van Gaal, and the reality is the only reason Van Gaal wasn't sacked. The only reason Van Gaal was sacked is because we didn't get top 4. There was no agreement with Mourinho to get the job. It was just simply because we didn't get top 4. If Van Gaal had got top 4, Woodward would have kept him. It's why we got rid of Moyes, and it's why we got rid of Van Gaal. If you don't get top 4, you get the sack. Contribution from Imrano TV. Can we all just believe we will sign Sandro, Alderweireld and Bale, then cry together on Thursday 5 p.m. when it doesn't happen? Let's have 5 days of deluded happiness. Look, until something's impossible, you've got to try and do it, haven't you? You've got to keep believing and you've got to keep dreaming. And I do agree with you on that one, but I think it's probably a little bit unlikely that it's going to happen, isn't it? But by the by. Did you talk about Jose Pogba news? Think it's bullshit. The media wants to spin, but what's the news in your opinion? Says Amit. I haven't seen that news, but if it's anything to do with Paul Pogba leaving Manchester United, I just don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think it's going to happen. I've said that so many times. We're never ever going to let Paul Pogba leave Manchester United. We're just not going to let it happen, are we? I just don't believe that it could happen. So how am I supposed to get around here to do this? Let's give it a go. See where it is. You've asked me to do it, so I'm going to do it. Don't say I don't do things on the United stand. I'll do it for you now. Bum, bum, bum. Going up to the slide. Here we go. And it's going to be wet. Right. Here we go. Anthony Martial is going to stay. Bee! Done. And now I've got a wet arse for you all. Don't say I don't do things for you on the United stand. Anyway, have a fantastic evening, Saturday night. Back with you tomorrow morning with Transfer Daily at around 10 a.m. your time. And obviously we'll go live if there's any transfer news. We've got a watch along tomorrow night. Don't miss that. Enjoy your Saturday evening. And I agree with Imrano TV. Maybe we should be hoping. I am still hopeful that we are going to do some business. I am still hopeful. But who knows? Who knows? Another eventful day on the United stand, isn't it? You know, the United stand on tour in Mallorca.